Good morning, men, manly men, and to all you ladies watching as well. Welcome back to Doing Man Stuff. I'm Jason, and I'm here at one of my most favorite places. This is H-E-B. It's the major grocery store here in San Antonio, Texas. And as the military surplus store video, which I hope you guys have watched, just go back to that video and check that one out. That's a really amazing place. But H-E-B is a gold mine too. Your local grocery store is a treasure trove of items and resources for your prepping needs and for survival items, believe it or not. So we're gonna go into H-E-B and I'm gonna show you some of the things that you can find in here. Yep, this is H-E-B. This is one of my favorite places. So many things. First thing you'll notice is they got a lot of plants out here. This type of grocery store, and a lot of grocery stores will have a lot of plants during seasonal times, vegetables included. So when you gotta put food in the ground and produce your own calories, produce your own food, this is one of those really great places even to find that. Plus, for you manly men, there's lots of flowers that you can buy for your wife. That is very important. All right, guys, this aisle is the first one that I want to point out to you. This is where all the seasonal and charcoal items are. But this is one of the most useful things that you can find at the store, and that's fire starters. We looked at those cubes like that before, but they even have some of these great little bird's nest fire starters that are super easy to use, and they make it a lot easier to get a fire started even when the conditions are not awesome. There's lots of options here. Obviously there's some holes like there are at every grocery store right now, but I get these sternos like this for some of your smaller camping stoves, longer reach matches, tons of matches. But man, having multiple different ways of starting a fire is so critical. Obviously, tons of lighters. Bic lighters are always my favorite, but those work really great too. Keep some of those around. They have a lot of uses. Then of course, bug spray and things like that. You'd be surprised at how much that improves your morale, not getting eaten up by bugs when you're in a survival situation or you're in a situation where you're just stuck at the house. Lots of other things, coolers, mugs, that kind of stuff. Anyway, on to the next. This is something that I really want to point out that is super important. We are always talking about water. We're always talking about storing water, but what about filtering it? These are not the ways probably that you would do it in a survival situation, but they'll certainly work in a short term, in a pinch. You can use some filters like a Brita filter even. It just it works wonders. If you, as I said, if you're in a pinch for the short term, that's a great way to do it, and you can find that stuff at the store. Okay, here at the grocery store, this section right here is something that you just can't look past. All these travel size items are perfect for survival bags, even just to keep in your vehicles, etc. But things like these travel size Advils, for instance, or Tylenol, whatever it is that you prefer. But having that's compact and easy to access is really useful in difficult times, in times where you gotta bug out, where you're camping, hiking, etc. So don't overlook this aisle. We got the smaller bottles of toothpaste, lotion, shampoos, deodorants, things like that. This is an incredible resource for you, particularly when you're putting those bug out and survival bags together. So don't pass this one up. Check it out. Find all the different items that you can put into your survival kits. Dental floss. Guys, there's 100 uses for dental floss. Cordage, fishing line, cleaning your teeth the way it was intended, of course. Don't overlook that. It's nice and small and compact and has a lot of uses. Make sure that you have some of this. And let's not overlook all the medical supplies that you can get here. Medical tape. There's no end to the different bandages that you could buy. Band-Aid style things, gauze pads, disposable gloves, really important. You can even get yourself a first aid kit there, and those are really not bad, especially for a compact situation like these guys right up here. Nice and compact, easy to throw into a bag. You should always have a first aid kit around, and the grocery store is a wonderful place to find all the different components of your medical kit. Guys, if you take prescription medications, make sure you have a way to organize that stuff. Don't be just haphazardly tossing pill bottles into your bags. Make sure you have that stuff organized so that you don't get it mixed up, so that you don't overlook things that you actually really need if you have a medical condition. We always hope that we don't have to take those things, but if you do, for heaven's sakes, do it in an organized fashion. Okay, guys, one of the most important things that you can have in your home and in your bags is some kind of petroleum jelly, Vaseline, whatever you want to call it, whatever the brand name is, it's all the same, really. There's a million uses for that stuff. If you watched our video on making fire starters that we posted recently, you'll know that that is useful even for starting fires, but it has a million uses and you should always have some around. Make sure that you get this. Look how cheap it is. Make sure you stock up on this. Okay, this is one of the things I was looking for. I'm gonna get some of this today. Tincture of iodine. Of course, it is used as an antiseptic, but tincture of iodine can be used to purify water in a survival situation, even in an urban situation, and you need a way to purify your water. Tincture of iodine is a really good way to do that. You can look up the formula, how many drops you're supposed to put per quart, etc. But and here we come to it, the most important thing, in my opinion, that you can find at the grocery store for survival situations, for your prepping needs. There's not a more important thing than water. And the grocery store is a really inexpensive and easy way to make that happen. Now, you need a few gallons of water per day, and particularly, guys, when you're stocking up for that first week without power, without water, without resources. When you're stocking up for that first week, this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. About $1 a gallon. In general, you can see it's 94 cents. That's pretty darn good. This is the way to do it. And then, of course, you have all the individual bottles. It's really good to have those too for convenience sake. But when you're that first month, that first week, this is probably the best way to stock up for your water. And remember, though, that these bottles shouldn't be just sitting in your garage in the heat, leaching chemicals into that water for a long period of time. So if you're gonna stock up with these types of bottles, then you really need to cycle through them. There's lots of opinions about that. I'm sure gonna hear about it in the comments, and that's fine, but this is a really great place to start. So water at the grocery store, that is key. Okay, my favorite aisle. Some of y'all are gonna call this a luxury item, but morale is really important when you're in a difficult situation, guys. Coffee, having some coffee, and you don't have to go expensive. Just make sure you have some coffee available that you can make, or tea, or whatever the beverage of your choice is. But that morale boost is a lifesaver. It's literally a lifesaver sometimes. One thing I wanted to show you is these individual packets right here. These are ones that I have in my survival kits, and that's a really great way to do it if you're boiling water at a campsite or at a survival shelter. Then you can just grab one of these packets and pour it in some water, have a cup of coffee real quick, and that is a huge boost to your morale. Of course, you can get some larger containers, but I like those individual ones for when you're in a pinch. So don't pass up even things like coffee and tea. If you like good old-fashioned Sanka or a cup of cocoa, that you can find that here too. Just consider that for your survival situations. Okay, this is one of my least favorite aisles, but something you should at least think about when you're talking about morale boost. Having some hard candies, some of the ones that will keep for a long time. Chocolate's not the best way to go, but some of these hard candies just gives you a little shot of sugar, just puts a smile on your face. Can be huge for your morale, and in a tough situation, a morale boost can be the difference between life and death sometimes, so consider it. Okay, this is another thing that you should not overlook. Well, we all know the toilet paper discussion, we're not even gonna go there. But wet wipes. These are huge. Baby wipes, wet wipes, man, they will help you in so many different situations. just for sanitation purposes. Make sure you always have some of those in your bags and in your kits. Keep them in your house. You would be surprised at how many times that you will use those wet wipes like that. Here's another item. While I'm here right now, get some bleach. Make sure you have plenty of bleach in your house. Keeping things clean, keeping things safe and sanitized. It's also, I'm gonna let this gentleman get by. It's also, in a pinch, not a bad way to purify your water. If you don't have any tincture of iodine around, a couple of drops of bleach and in the appropriate amounts can purify your water and keep it safe. So make sure you have some bleach around. All right, guys, I cannot stress enough how important it is to have these two items right here. Plenty of aluminum foil and different size storage bags, Ziploc bags. Of course, Ziploc is a brand, but whatever. Zipper bags like that, the ones with the slides on them, are pretty awesome. But you gotta have a way to put all that stuff together. You gotta have a way to store stuff in the freezer. It's a great way to store things and compartmentalize things in your survival bags and in your kits and things like that. So make sure you got plenty of aluminum foil and plenty of zipper bags. So, you guys, there's gotta be something you're supposed to avoid. This aisle right here, with all this stuff, just avoid it. Just avoid it. You don't want that in a survival situation. That's not what you need to survive on. You want to survive on things that are going to keep you going. This stuff does exactly the opposite. Okay, this is the last item that I'm going to go over here in this grocery store for today. Trash bags of all kinds are incredibly useful in a lot of different situations, but what I want you to focus on specifically is these guys right here. Contractor bags. Now, these are the ones at the grocery store. Not sure how really good these are, but man, in a pinch, these 55-gallon bags like this have so many uses. You can use them even as an improvised mattress in a camping situation. You can fill them with leaves and debris and make yourself a mattress. You can make yourself a shelter. You can make yourself an improvised blanket when it's necessary. These have a million uses. You make sure you have some of these around. Put 2 or 3 of them in your kits and your bags, and you'll be surprised at how useful they really are. All right, guys, this concludes our trip to the grocery store. What I hope is that you'll realize from this that you don't have to look really hard to find the stuff that you need for prepping and survival. Equipment and supplies. It's really easy to find most of the stuff that you need. You saw how many things I showed you in the grocery store, and there's a lot more. So just start making a list of items that you need and then go to places like this to find them. If you look at Home Depot, you can find those contractor bags we were just looking at and 100 other items. If you go to the grocery store locally, you'll find so many items like what I just showed you. Walmart. Very simple things like that. Your outdoor store, like Academy, etc., Dick's Sporting Goods. There's tons and tons of stuff there. You don't have to go to Sharper Image to find all the stuff you need for this stuff. It's not boutique. It's basic. It's simple. It's down to earth. It's stuff that you might not even think about. A lot of stuff that you already have in your home that you didn't even know. So guys, I hope this gives you some ideas, and I hope it encourages you that you can get this done, and you can get it done without destroying your budget. And you saw what I did today. All I bought was some iodine tincture for water purification, and that was $3. $3 here, $5 there, $10 there. Doing that a little bit at a time, one trip at a time, adding one extra item to your grocery list, to your Costco list, etc. If you do that just consistently without spending a whole lot of money at once, you'd be surprised at how fast that adds up and turns into a full-fledged survival kit or a full-fledged week's worth of supplies. And it's a beautiful thing. But always have a plan. Always take your time. Don't destroy your budget, and enjoy yourself. And the security and the just the peace of mind that you get from having that and knowing that you're going to be okay and you're going to have what you need, that's huge. So you guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Keep doing man stuff. I hail you happy in the Lord.